Hello guys, this is my simple JavaScript project. As you can see, it is a world clock. So simply we can browse the country, select those that country for which we want to check time. Like I'm doing for Africa Porto Novo. Simple, it will display this. Uh, Secondly, we will be seeing through the code that how it works. The key features, I will mention some key features so that I will be explaining them in later in my code how I implement that thing. So you can see that my time has a format in PM, like it's not an 24-hour clock. We can also do that thing, but I implemented in this way. Plus we have date through in this format, and you can see that in the my timer is going um, getting incremented as you can say it is a live. It is not stable. Like if I refresh it, it will it will give me the time. See, so it is still counting on. Okay, and after this means it's working as live. Okay, and I don't use any API or anything. It's simple a JavaScript that is making it working, and my UI is simple because I don't think about that UI thing. I want to make it a simple project and the simple Java. I did this for only my sharpening my skills for JavaScript. So this I made this whole as my own from scratch. So you can see that one drop down button I use. So I use a bootstrap template. It's not I don't pick up a whole template. I just use the component. We will discuss in the code part. For now, I can say it's in Jumbotron, which I picked up from the Bootstrap components. So yeah, this is simple, and I will be deploying it, hosting it live on some site. So if you visit, then thank you for visiting. That's all. Now we will look into the code part. So we are in the code of our world clock. Does it seem rhyme? Let's see. You are seeing that my code is not looking so neat because I it's a good practice to have an indented and neat code, but uh, my intention was not for having a full-fledged product. I just did this for running my JavaScript. Okay, so first of all, the main core or soul of this project is JavaScript only. So we will discuss this front end or this UI part later on. This is simple thing. First of all, we will see how we implemented this timing thing using JavaScript, right? So if I start, like the first thing we want to display. We want to display what are the time zones in that drop down menu. So I take the drop down button from the bootstrap component. This is the thing, and I think this is extra. So let me comment it out. Okay, then I made an ID for, uh, for this element, div element. Okay, now these are the options which will be listed in that drop down menu. Okay, so for that I use the script, JavaScript. This is that part. So what it actually doing? It's actually forming an array from where from this library. This is an JavaScript library that helps to manage those time zones which are listed there. So it's a whole array. I took it from that library, and then I So in that array we have all the time zones that are listed in my world clock. You see it before this, so you saw it there before this. And so simply we first of all simple we take this array, and for each this thing is actually what is it is doing that we can see that we have this array which contain all those time zones. So for each time zone we are adding an html here like this. See, like if I do it manually, then it will be a lot of manual tasks, and that we engineers are not for. See, we are not for. So simple, we are using script that what that that will do what will select that id, and inside this we are pasting our time zone like this. Simple. Okay. So we are using inner html property of this. So simple, we do this thing. So as our window refresh, it simply runs, because javascript dom actually runs from top to down. Okay. So first of all this will happen. The second thing, it's in function, uh, and the function will be working when it will be called. So we come here to update. So what, so the first thing why I do like this key, I have embed this code in this function. I will tell you this, no problem. So just first we try to look into this update function. So when we go into update, we simply check for this condition which I will taking. First we will do this thing. Okay. So we take the country options, because now we have listed all the options. Now we have to select that option, and for that option which is a time zone, we have to display the time and the date. Okay. Simply when I select when I select that, I added an event listener. So on click function, on click will take if this selected element is getting clicked, which is its country options, which is the div element with the id country options. Okay. Then a function will trigger on this here. I use an arrow function, so don't be confused. So an event will be triggered on, and that selected item, that selected time zone which I initiated with the selected time zone, it will be selected. And as you can see, I am listing all my time zones. I'm listing all my time zones within name time zone is equal to this. So I can access this time zone with which variable, this time zone. I'm assigning this time zone into this variable. So simply we select it. When it's clicked, the event is generated, the event is run, and we can get our time zone using this time zone variable. See, okay, this part you get. Now the what will be the second part? Now we get the time zone. Okay, great. So now we have to display the time at our that jumbotron that I in which I have to display the time and date. So simply, I will tell this in later. Simply, we will call a function display selected time zone. So come into function displays and time zone. So see, here I had taken two values, selected time and date, because these two things I have to print. Now I have used a Luxon. It's also a library which actually prints your date and time in the local format of any country for a particular time zone. It's time zone specific. Select the time. Just give this library the time zone. It will output with that date and time. But we have to format it, because we have to do formatting, or it will be in a messy thing which is not quite readable, or it's not quite feel catchy to read. So just I have formatted that thing by seeing time with seconds and dateful. That's how these are parameters which are used to format this. Okay. So simple, we have luxon did time dot now. This is a simple function. And what we do for this library, what we set the zone with the selected time zone. And what is selected time zone? Which is coming as an argument for the display time, which is passed through from where? Here, display time selected time zone, which is one the selected one, which we selected. See, here we click, it gets into selected time zone. Then we pass same selected time zone in the display time function, and in display time function we take it as an argument, and then we are using this time zone to fetch the selected time and date, right? Okay, it's not an API, it's in library. That library may be using an API. So simple. It just helps. Luxon isn't just a JavaScript library that helps to manage these all complexities of time zones, so that one can display the time and date. Okay, just we have format. Okay, good. Now, if you remember, I also say that the thing when I refresh, it should not be vanished. Okay, the last selected, country or time zone should be the time and date should be displayed on the web page. So for that, what I use? Local storage. I store the last selected item to the local storage. Okay, and simply, if this local storage is empty, simple I will display the time on selection, means it will be clear. And if it is not, if it is have something, then display that thing first. After that, I select anything, then display for that time. But if it is already selected, then do this, then do for this time zone. So for that, I uses the local storage, right? So then we move to the this thing. Okay, now I will be telling you how I did do that. Yeah, first I will tell this, that is, see, if selected country, see, I have set the item, local storage set item in selected country, the selected time zone. See, I have assigned the selected time zone to the selected country in the object set item. Simple. See, now every time when we call a function update, first it will check if the selected country is available or not. If it is not, then we will simply move forward. But if it is, then first we will display time for this. Okay, and then we are now this thing get in by simple inner text inner text. This thing is that what like the drop down button has an by default browse countries button. Okay, so if it is not selected, then it is displaying browse country. But if I select it, then there should be the name on that button, that like I have selected Asia, so it should be written Asia. There should not be there should be overwritten by the selected time zone. That should not be displaying that browse countries now if I have selected. Okay, so for that I simply take the id and making the inner text is a selection country, right? And for same the country, the subheading of that current time and date, for same I display that thing. Okay, simple. So I have explained this. Okay, select on. Okay, and same here. Now you will ask why you have done this two times, because if it is already selected, then it will not come into this. Okay, so I have to do this here, right? And the second display time here also, here display time here I display that time and date in the main tab, that main jumbotron element. So this is time and date. For here I use span tag to display the thing. I will come to the front end thing too. Now there's only one thing left, explain the whole thing. You can see the one thing is left, that yeah, for Luxon library I have to include this GitHub link, which is in JavaScript for JavaScript library Luxon, and for that I have linked that GitHub link. Okay, I have embedded that thing. Okay, okay, now that incrementing. So for that is simple. I just doing this update function for each second. I'm doing this update function for each second, for each next second. And how I'm doing it is using set interval. So simple, I use the set interval and doing and giving this update function, and it is updating my display time. So the code is uh, implementing the way that each time it's getting its if condition to if it's already there, and if there's a new time then it's also working. So that's how it is updating thousand. So what happened at each second, this update second is checking the all these thing and implementing again and again. Simple, that's how it is implementing the thing. Okay, I applied the simple thing already, all of it. Tick. So that's how I did. Now come to a simple UI. So simple, but I do is if I uses an component jumbotron, as I tell you, for displaying the time, I uses a spandex so that I can access these text. Okay, so simple, I use spandex, and simple here I uses this id country options for the drop down menu. Okay, and this is the same, and I have a photo for thank you for visiting, and I have done the little css, right? This is my little bit css. This font family I use from that thing jumbotron, so that it get some symmetry in its UI. That's all. Okay, I hope you get the idea of my project, and now you can make your own too. Thank you, guys.